Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to We're All Fine. We have such a special episode today. Carly is on vacation, so joining me today is my very special guest co-host. This is Jackie Jensen. Everybody, did I say that right? Is it Jensen? Jansen.
Everybody switches it back and forth.
Okay, well, Jackie is the co-host of a super phenomenal true crime podcast called Justice For. What kind of got you into that, Jackie?
So we're in Colorado Springs, and we had a pretty big one a few years ago. Was a 10-year-old boy who went missing, and we all followed very closely along. And me and my co-host followed the entire trial. 8 hours of trial a day. Everybody was sick of me. And after that, we binged 5 years of a true crime podcast in 4 months. And then an entire other one in 2 months. And we went, we can do this, but we want to do this different. We want to do this with a focus on the victims, not on the perpetrator. We want to tell people about them and make people remember them.
You're so badass.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Jackie is helping me out today, and she's, still bringing some of her super gory true crime goodness over our way.
Our episode today was not gory. It was not horrible. It was light-ish.
Light-ish.
Nobody died. Well,
interesting.
Horribly.
We decided today we would just talk about revenge. And on this podcast, we've talked about pettiness before, and that's adorable. Pettiness is that's causing someone an inconvenience.
Oh, I love revenge. To be petty.
Yeah. Girl, who doesn't love to be petty? That doesn't actually hurt people. It just causes them great inconvenience or uncomfortableness. Revenge is hardcore. You're going to destroy some shit. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. But apparently, according to Jackie, it's revenge light is what we're doing. So it's not even full revenge. It's diet revenge.
Do you know how hard it is to find light revenge that's not full blown she's all bring me some revenge things, but nothing too dark and heavy. And I'm all, well, that's a lot of them.
I'm excited for what you brought because I know that you're calling it light, but maybe that's just from the world that you're coming from.
I thought it was light and fluffy.
Oh, sure. Have you ever had done a light revenge or had light revenge done on you?
I really should have thought about this.
That's okay. I was thinking about it earlier and I was maybe I blocked it out. I could.
Right? I'm what have I grown so much in my adult life that I'm we're rising above these things. We've just blocked out the very, very horrible things we did in our early. I don't know. What's your light pettiness revenge?
Oh, well, no. Pettiness. I got
or light revenge.
I can handle pettiness, but revenge, I don't know. I think I've been too scared to do full out revenge.
Yes.
And mostly it's because I was raised on Grimm's fairy tales, where anytime somebody goes out to get revenge on someone, it always turns around and bites them in the ass in a horrible way.
Yes, and I am with you on that. I have tried to do the if you can't beat them, join them. And then I'm no, this is just really shitty, man.
I'm not going to say that I've always done the high road of I'm going to be the better person in the scenario. That's not it. But usually it's me just bitching and complaining a lot until the anger goes away and then it's done. Or something that's petty to cause them minor inconveniences so I feel better.
Do you do the revenge over in your head so many times that you feel you have gotten your revenge? You know that argument that you win the argument in your head so many times with them that you're yeah, I feel better about this now. This is done.
Yeah. And actually, when you say that, I guess I have one. This is going to be revenge light now that I'm thinking about it. Because it really was when I was in high school, I had this boyfriend and I was so super in love with him. And I had a friend call me and she said, hey, you know that guy you're dating? I play club soccer with this other girl who says that she also has been dating him these last couple months and that they just broke up. I was well, that's rough because he and I have been together for much longer than that. So neat. Right. So I decided, yes, I was going to get revenge, but also find out what the story was. So I got him on the phone and he's like, hey, babe, I'm really excited about our date, going to the movies. And this is, by the way, back in like the 1900s. So I was like on a landline having that conversation. And he's like, I'm really excited. And I said, me too. Listen, if it's okay, and I know that this is weird, but I have this really close friend, and I said her name. And I was like, and I know her from club soccer, because I also played soccer. She just broke up with her boyfriend, and she's super heartbroken. Could she join us at the movies? Like, I think that she just needs to be around people.
Stop it. Stop it.
He was like, yeah, I just want time with you. Just you and I together. It would be great. Just us time. And then I think I cursed at him and hung up because that was the only proof I needed. And then the next morning he was like in a group of his friends and I walked over and I like unleashed the verbal tiger right at him and broke up with him in front of everybody. And that was it.
And that's wonderful because that's revenge with a theatric exit. Yeah, I feel like I've always been too emotionally reactive until the last like few years of my life to think far enough ahead to like stop and be like, hey, maybe I should just observe really quick and then throw down. In the past few years of my life, I got my last restaurant ousted by the server who came in and just decided that I didn't need to be there anymore. And it really made me go, okay, I shall look at things now. And so it made me sit back a little bit more and be like, oh, let's watch how things play out now, instead of having to be so reactive. And so maybe I'll have some fun revenge stories for later.
I promise you will, because ultimately that's what revenge is it's time and planning. Because the thing about like good revenge is that it's all about, I mean, it's usually extremely well thought out. Because I like watching other people get revenge. I'm too big of a baby to get it myself. I'm not strong enough. So I found this thing because, I don't know, I've heard all of the comments about revenge, which is like, I can't even remember the saying now, but it's like trying to kill someone else by drinking the poison.
I was all, revenge is a dish best served cold. Sorry, that's what I was thinking when you're trying to gather that. I was like, is that where we're going? Because I like that. But
because they're saying it hurts you. But
yeah,
I found this like really cool article from The Observer that talked about how this group of Swiss researchers scanned the brains of people who had been wronged during an economic exchange game. So these people were told to trust their partners to split a pot of money with them, but the partners then, last minute, choose to keep the loot for themselves. The people who got screwed on that deal, they go ahead and scan their brains and tell them, you have a chance to punish your greedy partner. And as this person is like contemplating the revenge, they study the activity in the brain and they realize that it causes a rush of neural activity that essentially like activates the rewards section of the brain.
What?
Yeah. So just thinking about revenge activated the same part of the brain that made you feel great. It activated that same pleasure center on there. Just literally just thinking about it, not even doing it. However, they said that the thing about it is that feeling only happens momentarily because just like we've talked about, when you look at the cost of time, the emotion, the physical energy, stuff like that, that really, they said that revenge actually manages to extend out the bad feelings from the situation itself. So,
yes, but you feel good doing it.
Well, but like for a moment.
Yeah.
So you get long, the horrible feeling of the original, whatever it is that caused the wrong. And then this like one moment of reward.
Interesting.
This is not a moral thing.
No, it's just really interesting.
Yeah, but it's true. So when you're like, I'm going to get revenge. Yeah, because it feels really fucking good.
For 2 seconds.
But it's a really great 2 seconds.
Yeah, it really is.
Super solid. Okay, well, now I'm really excited to hear about your Revenge Lite story.
Yeah, let me see what you're bringing before I annihilate over here, because you made me, I thought I was bringing light and fluffy.
I love revenge stories. Okay, so I just looked up the most classic case of revenge, most classic case of revenge, which is the Count of Monte Cristo, which was based off of a true story. So the story is actually based off of this shoemaker named Pierre Picard. Picard? Picaud. Picard. I should know this French.
Listen, I took
Picard.
French for 6 years and I can't help you right now.
I got it. So we're just going to call him Pierre because I can't say his last name. So Pierre, he gets engaged to a wealthy woman in the 1800s, and three of his friends, Lupian, Chaubert, and Solari, become super jealous of the fact that he's now got money and a hot woman, right? So they go ahead and tell authorities that he's actually a spy for England, and he gets imprisoned for that. While he's in prison, Pierre digs a hole into the next cell. He befriends a priest who tells him about some treasure hidden in Milan. So in 1814, the government falls and he's released. So he digs the hole to talk to the priest, finds out about the treasure. He's released in 1814, which is like 7 years later. Okay. He goes, he gets the treasure, comes back to France, and then spends 10 years plotting how he's going to get revenge on the three friends that sent him to prison. So the first guy, Chaubert, he has murdered. Solari, he has poisoned. But Lupian goes ahead, and after Pierre goes to prison, Lupian marries Pierre's ex, the very wealthy woman. So Pierre decided that Lupian needed to pay the worst. So what he does is he tricks Lupian's daughter into marrying a criminal, burns Lupian's restaurant down, and frames his son for stealing jewelry. The daughter dies of shock, Lupian becomes poor, and the son is imprisoned. Then Pierre goes ahead and confronts Lupian, who's now poor and broken, and stabs him to death.
Wow. Okay, first of all, I did not pay attention to the Count of Monte Cristo in French when we watched it. English probably would have caught on to most of that. Second of all, who said men cannot play a long game? Oh right? My gosh, that is, I shouldn't, but good. That was well done. That was well done.
For real. When I heard about the first two friends, murdered, poisoned, I'm like...
Poisoned, yeah, okay. This is normal. This is normal. Yeah.
But this guy who's you married my ex? You brother trucker. And he goes...
that was the line. That was the line. It wasn't the jail. Nothing. The line was... That was it.
To just, not even destroy him, but, destroy his whole family. And then
the daughter dying of shock, though, that was an incidental.
That's taken some real time.
Yeah, that was... he had a lot of time to sit and think about this. He really did.
That's fair. What happened to the woman? What happened to the ex? Does she think that she just has, the worst luck in the world? Her first husband gets sent to jail, her second husband gets stabbed.
Yeah, well, maybe she'll make better choices next time. I don't know. Maybe
that's the moral.
Maybe when three friends send some jail, maybe don't marry one of them and not have protection. They just did not protect themselves. They just thought that this was going to be okay.
Yeah, maybe don't hook up with the friend unless you're in a consenting throuple.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, okay. That took a left turn.
Okay, so was that Revenge Lite?
Sure.
Yeah.
My turn.
Okay, you go.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so I have Julia Tofana is said to have been responsible for the death of over 600 men.
Holy jeez.
Let me take you back to 17th century Italy, where marriages were mainly transactions between families for a dowry. Women had no rights. They were seen more as property and birthing machines. There was no divorce. The only way out was death. His or hers. Either way. And that is where Julia comes in. She made a poison called aqua tofana, and it was tasteless, odorless, harmless looking, and untraceable. It contained a mix of... She made this.
That's what I was going to say. She made it?
She made it. And it contained a mix of arsenic, belladonna, and lead. And it was said that 4 to 6 drops could kill a man within a few days. And that was the best part. It wasn't instant. So it wasn't suspicious. It just seemed like these men were getting really sick and dying. But eventually there were too many men getting sick and dying.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
So people started to catch on, and one of the clients cracked under the pressure from police and ratted her out. And she ended up running. She hid out in a church. She came out because someone started a rumor that she poisoned Rome's water system. And so she finally was like, okay. And she confessed to everything and was executed, obviously. But she, in 17th century Italy, created an entire underground poison ring ran by women to get out of domestic violence marriages that they were married into by their fathers.
Yes! Oh my gosh! I did hear about this.
Like, is that not just the most amazing? Like, she is like one of the most prolific serial killers in history, but in a wonderful way.
I mean, yes.
I don't normally say that about the serial killer, but like this one.
So, if I remember this story correctly, this is the way it started. She was helping women get out of these like abusive relationships, not just from husbands, but from like fathers, brothers, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and the men got scared.
Oh, totally. But I think at some point, this is where it takes a left turn, is because it's no longer like domestic abuse. At some point, women are like, I really cannot handle him chewing with his mouth open at dinner anymore. Like, I cannot handle it.
Yeah, that was the part where they were scared of their sisters and daughters. But honestly, you married them off to an abusive asshole. We're going to come back a little bit. But like, how awesome. She created like an entire like woman-ran business.
Wow. That's amazing. And I like the way that you look at that. She was a female entrepreneur.
And helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Wow.
I learned things. It's a great time. Didn't know how to make poison before now. There's more ingredients than that, but those are just the ones you can find. Mentioned.
Yeah, but I think that's what sounds horrible, is because all of those together, I can't even imagine.
And the way that she made it like non-traceable and odorless, I mean, not like we're really like running like thorough autopsies of the 17th century, but, and it was like during the plague. So like it took a minute for them to like really catch on to the fact that there was like a lot of men dying. That's why it got so out of hand, because, well, the plague was happening. So they were doing this enough that it started to be weird with plague numbers.
So at what number do you feel like it was too much? Like if she's up to 600.
When the Pope figured it out. that's kind of when it downhill, when it got to the Pope, it went, that's what one of the articles said, basically. Once it like got to the Pope, I don't know. But it said over 600. Everything I found was over 600. So I don't know who's keeping track. I mean, she confessed. So probably like, she was like, would you like the receipts?
So she did confess?
Yeah, she confessed to it. And there's like, I was reading one that there's like 4 other ones that actually like ended up getting executed as well. Like a part of the whole thing because of how large of like a poisoning ring it had become. These women, like, they were following all these women around town to see if somebody would happen to meet with somebody and get something. They didn't really know how to get somebody or where to go. They were just following women places and putting people places to see if it would happen.
When I look at the difference here, the Count of Monte Cristo, like he was really very specific with his revenge. Like he was like, these guys only, I'm not even going to touch anybody else. Just these guys. She was like, I was going to take revenge out on an entire gender. It just feels like very unfocused.
Well, there was another one that took it out on an entire country.
Go on.
So, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but Boudica? Boudica?
Sure.
Known in the Latin chronicles as Boadicea. We had a CEA. She's the queen of the ancient British Iceni tribe. And she ascended the throne after her husband, the king, died. And she had 2 daughters. And he, left them all of his wealth, hoping that all of his agreements with all the other countries and stuff around him would say that they would be in alliance, nothing would happen. Well, when he died, all of them went, nope. All of that is gone. We're not listening to a woman. A woman's not running your kingdom. And so one of the kingdoms, like, instead they just, like, annexed the kingdom. Like, they were like, you're no longer a part of all of this. And they came in and raped her daughters, flogged her. And so she then led a rebellion against the Romans for justice for her daughters. She led an army that slaughtered thousands of Romans, set fire to 3 cities and several military posts, Colchester, St. Albans, and London, as we know them now. Her uprising killed 70,000 Romans, and pro-Roman Britons eviscerated the Roman Ninth Legion. She was eventually defeated, but not before making her legacy as one of Rome's most vicious opponents. All because they came in and raped her daughters.
Wow.
That was the other. I didn't know if that one was too heavy or not.
Oh, let me tell you, that is like some serious mama bear energy right there.
Right? I was like, well, dang, okay.
Yeah. You don't fuck with a woman's kids.
No.
Wow.
Just release the cherry.
Well, I actually have a really good Reddit one. It's just not historical.
Woo! Okay, what is your Reddit? I love Reddit, by the way. Like, what is your favorite... Okay, off topic. What's your favorite subreddit? Like, I am personally a fan of Am I the Asshole?
Oh, yeah. No, that's wonderful. Plus, there's always such gold on that one.
I get a little email every day that has, like, Am I the Asshole, like, stories. And, like, I literally wake up with an Am I the Asshole on Reddit, and then I start my day.
Oh my gosh. I have so many. There's, like, book porn, which actually is just, like, things you love about books. But there is another one. Interesting as fuck is the subreddit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting as fuck and mildly interesting and oddly satisfying. Because interesting as fuck is, there's just some stuff you're like, what?
Funny enough, I have pro revenge and petty revenge on here, and I'm not even useful today, so.
This one is actually on the Revenge Stories subreddit. And this isn't like gory or evil. I don't even know necessarily that it's illegal.
Okay.
So this might be like between petty and revenge. Like, it might be in between there.
Okay.
Okay, so this person says, for context, I, 34 female, have a son in high school who plays soccer. This year, he is a senior. So for the last 4 years, we have gotten TP'd just about every weekend. Sometimes twice in a weekend in the month of October. Twice in a weekend.
Oh my God, no.
I've mostly laughed it off, but honestly, I just needed to get some small form of retaliation. I don't believe in vandalism, and these kids have never crossed that line either, but I'm just sick of picking it up. It's clear we are considered an easy target, and we have 2 big trees right in our front yard. I thought on it for a while and finally decided to enact a plan. I have 2 large dogs. They're both sweet as can be, but they are big boys who apparently forget their job to alert me of yard intruders. But I still found a way to include them. For the last 2 weeks, I've been only taking them to poop in the front yard. It's pretty gross. But tonight, when we got TP'd, they most definitely stepped in a few piles, and now their mom's car is going to stink. I do feel better.
I love this. I love that. That's wonderful. But someone really needs to suggest to this woman that she needs to take packets of instant mashed potatoes and forks and go sprinkle them and put forks in people's yards and sprinkle instant mashed potatoes everywhere. Because you want to know why?
Why?
You want to know why? Because people can't get it off. They think it's powdery. So they are going to spray it with water to get that stuff off. And you want to know what it's going to do? It's going to make mashed potatoes in their grass. So go stab some forks in some people's yards and do it. Or
what do the forks do? What is the purpose of that? It's just,
you know how annoying it is to take 100 forks out of your yard? And also, if you do it like when it's going to get cold at night and then the forks freeze in there, then they snap off.
Oh my God, you're a monster.
Okay, so listen, my senior class was responsible for toilet paper and Parker not being sold to kids under, or minors, like under 18, you could not buy toilet paper after 9 p.m. at Walmart. Yeah. It was a great time. Like, I can't wait to take my kid TPing. I told her no egging, but TPing on all the time. I was like, I can't wait for this.
How destructive do you need to be as a city for a Walmart not to sell toilet paper to anyone under the age of 18?
We had fun. And you know what was funny? It was parents driving us around to do this. Like, we had adult supervision.
I get it. And honestly, for this lady, like, it wouldn't be as bad if she wasn't getting it like twice a weekend.
That is horrible. At that point, I'm like, listen, can y'all have a talk with your friends?
Yeah.
Can we pick a new house? Like, what are y'all doing? Can y'all quit pissing off the kids at school? What are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
What about malicious compliance? Do you read those on Reddit?
No.
Like, have you ever? Oh my gosh, I love to read like the malicious compliance ones where like they have a job, they're at their job, and their like boss is like, okay, you have to do this and this and this. And they're like, well, but if we do that, this will happen. He's like, no, you need to do this and this and this. And he goes, so okay, I did that, that, and that. Then I went on vacation for a week, and I was on vacation, and they had to deal with that. But I came back, and I just did exactly what he told me to. Those are my favorite.
Malicious compliance.
Or when like they get fired and they get told to like delete everything and do all this. And so they do it. And then like 3 days later, the boss is like, do you have this? No, you told me to delete everything and turn my laptop in. And they do it like knowing that they're going to need something, and they try to tell them, but like their managers or bosses won't listen. So they're like, okay, it's satisfying. You need to look some of those up.
That's good. That's also between petty and revenge. Like, it's not really either one.
No.
It's more like, yeah, that's a whole new level.
It's more like, okay, I'll do this, and I'll also watch the world burn around you. That's for the people pleasers. You know, that's the good spot for the people pleasers. And you have fun with it.
I kind of like malicious compliance because that's a really nice way for like, I mean, it's not poisoning people or 600 men at a time. It's not stabbing people and waiting in prison for your chance to like kill everyone that wronged you. Like, it's really...
Oh, some of these have taken down entire like companies.
Okay.
So they're like malicious compliance with a dash of revenge.
So guys, I hope that you hear all of this and realize that if you've been slowly plotting the demise of former friends, exes, your work, you know what? We're all fine. We've all done it. So it's, and you get to enjoy that brief moment in the pleasure center of your brain as you slowly plot it out.
And then tell us about it on Reddit.
Jackie, thank you so much for coming and playing with us today. Guys, please go check out Justice For. It is a really interesting and fun podcast. We'll make sure that there's a link for that in the show notes.
So yeah, so you can find us everywhere on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also, we are on YouTube, so you can watch us and all of the faces that we make. We have a new episode every Tuesday. You can find us links to everything on justiceforpodcast.com. We have a wonderful website with resources on it for everything domestic violence, hotlines, missing children. All of that is on there. And it is me and my best friend just hanging out every week and talking about current cases, older cases, people who are missing or active cases that need help. And it's just fun. It's just like hanging out with your best friend and talking about murdery things. You know, we're very big victim advocates. Lately, episodes we've had are why we have Amber Alerts, behind the illuminated Lyft and Uber signs in cars and ride shares, why we have safe exchange places at sheriff's offices, so educational as well.
Oh, I love this. And anytime I can listen to just creative, independent, strong women doing their thing, I'm all for it.
Oh, yes. We love female-ran things. We are completely all female-ran. I just realized that.
Sweet. Guys, keep an eye out as well. It looks like we are actually going to have merch coming out in the next 2 weeks. It is official. Keep an eye out. We would love to hear from you. You guys can always send us a message on any of the socials or at we'reallfinepodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Love you.